What's up, you Prerunner Maniacs? This is Robbie Woolworth with Motorsports. Today we're going to show you how to shorten up a bump stop. On this certain application, we have a Dixon kit, long travel kit, and it's full-wheel drive, so the ride height is lower than a two-wheel drive truck. So the 4-inch bump stop's too much and it hits way too often, it makes too much noise, so we're going to show you in a couple minutes how to shorten it to a 2-inch. Since we already removed the bump stop, we already released all the nitrogen out of the bump stop itself. So now I'm going to take the top cap off, which sometimes this is hard to do. Just take a screwdriver and just pry it off. This one came off pretty easy. There's a snap ring in here. If you guys watched our previous video, it's the same concept as rebuilding a shock. There's a snap ring in here that holds the head of the bump stop. Remove the O-ring. Now we're going to pull this shaft out of here. As you can see, there's already a little spacer in it. We're going to shorten this one to a 2-inch bump stop because it was a 4-inch. As you can see from the factory, this Fox 2.0 bump stop comes with a spacer already in it to make it a 4-inch bump stop. So we're going to change it to a 2 1/4-inch bump is what we want on this particular vehicle. So the spacer needs to be 3 inches, made out of 120 watt per Model 2. What I like to do now is take the old oil and pour it into a cup to make sure we have the right amount of oil when we put it back together. And this oil looks pretty good. It's not too black or dirty, so we're not going to change it. What we're going to do now is break the nut loose and take the actual spacer and everything off the bump stop. It's a 3/4-inch wrench. Every bump stop's a little bit different. They have different sizes, but this is for this particular brand. It's a 3/4-inch wrench. So we take the spacer off. This is the spacer. And we're going to cut a 3-inch piece in a few minutes. We're going to start reassembling the bump stop and put it back together. I already have the spacer piece on there, the seal head. We're going to put all the parts that we took off here. You guys have to make sure you put all this stuff on the right way. Different shims and everything. It's just like a shock. You can change the valving of your actual bump stop. Most of the time it's not important. You can adjust it just with the nitrogen. Go ahead and tighten this nut. Snug. Please, no impacts. This shows what it looks like before we put it back together. Now that I have the bump stop body back into the vise, we're going to reuse the oil I took out because it wasn't really that bad. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the oil back into the bump stop. Have everything tight on the shaft. Need the wiper seal. Put this back in. Right now I'm going to put the snap ring back into place. Just holds the shaft in here. We're going to pull on it to make sure it sets. And the final thing is we just have to put this cap back on it. The best way to do it is use a rubber mallet so you don't scratch up the anodizing of it. This cap just presses on here. Just the dust cap. That looks good. Now the dust cap's on. Put the oil in it. I can show you the difference between how much we shorten it up. 4-inch, then the one on the left is 2 1/4. This concludes our video on how to shorten up a 2.0 hydraulic bump stop. As always, we welcome your comments, so please post a comment in the comments box below. Thank you. As always, as always, we welcome